Hi YouTube and welcome to Danielle's Denture Diaries. I am Danielle, and in this video I'm going to give a little update on my life as well as my dentures, and I will be going through comments again. Mostly doing comments again because if for anyone who watched my last video or didn't watch my last video, I am going through some changes with my life where I am currently capable of posting dependably 1 time per week. I strive for 2 times a week because I feel like that's really great communication with you guys and a great way to keep the communication fairly alive versus having an entire week, which is not ideal in my opinion for us to chat. So touching on that personal life update, it's a very good thing. I went through a 6-week mentorship to be placed in a position where I would be in charge of my own team. And not only that, but it will be a different team than who I've been working with and a different place. So a lot of different moving parts just to that one aspect alone, and then I have the legal stuff and some personal family decisions. But just with the job one alone, for those of you who might not remember or you haven't seen the video yet, the people that I work with were the ones who helped me not only be able to go through my denture journey by giving me the time off that I needed, but also extending it when I had to go back and get an additional tooth removed that was forgotten or not seen. They helped me when I got back with talking, eating, I mean, you name it. They would just come into my office and sit down with me to eat and make sure I was eating, because sometimes I didn't want to eat. And they would tell me, hey, slow down your talking, you're causing more pain with yourself than you should be. And, the one that's my supervisor, she walked me down the aisle and gave me away with my son. So a lot of love and relationship there that just mean the world to me. So it's very bittersweet. And the people that we work with together are just amazing, and it's been some of the hardest conversations that I've had to have, is saying goodbye to those people. Not goodbye forever, but for now, and that I just won't be there consistently. I'll be able to go back, of course, to visit if I want, but it's not the same. So I have that going on, and I'm still working on that moving part right now as we speak. And for my denture, I had a slight scare where I thought, not even a scare, just a surprise, because I know I need to get my dentures updated, relined, adjusted, shaved here and there as my gums continue to shrink over time. But Matt and I were driving, and I was like, wow, like it really hurts on this side to bite down because it's like digging on the outside of my jaw. And I was like, I might actually need to schedule an appointment to go in and get this like shaved. And then I thought it was maybe even in the front too, where it was just that kind of pinching feeling. And I was like, wow, that hurts pretty bad. So we kept talking about it, and we were out and about for the day, so I didn't take my denture out to look at it or anything. But we got home and I took my dentures out to clean them, and I saw the bottom of my denture actually had like food or something on the side, not even in the trough, which usually it'll go in and under my denture and then I'll feel it, but then I just lift my denture with my tongue and I kind of get it out of there. But no, it was sitting perfectly on the edge, and it was just digging in, and I'm just glad I could get rid of that. I am excited that Matt and I keep talking more and more about me getting my permanent or custom dentures coming up here. So, of course, once that chapter happens, you guys will be along for the ride and I'll go through everything with you guys. But yeah, that's everything personally right now. So I am excited to get back into these comments with you guys and continue our conversations. I do still have a few pieces of homework to do. I haven't had the chance because my job has been giving me homework to do too. So, any Hoosers, let's go ahead and get into this. The first one is Carl Becker. First of all, I don't recognize your name, Carl, so welcome to the support group if I haven't said it to you already. He's talking about the Dentemp Reline It denture. He goes, so it's a two-part epoxy. For the most part, the smell, especially if it smells like something is burning, is just the chemical reaction that allows it to solidify. Thank you for sharing. I will be in your shoes soon. How long into the immediates before you start relining yourself? So I'm really excited for you getting your dentures or getting the extractions, whatever part that you're in or both, and congratulations. As far as how long into my immediates before I started relining myself. So my first two relines I got for my dentures were a soft reline a few weeks after my healing process or after my extraction, once the stitches were out and everything. And then I got my hard reline about a year later, almost. Yeah, it was almost a year. And then after that, shortly, that's when I started using my own Reline It. So as far as me doing it myself, it was about a year. Let's say hypothetically, for some reason, I didn't have access to a dentist at all for that entire year, that first year, and I was unable to go to him for the hard or soft relines, I would have absolutely done it myself. After that first few weeks of healing. So if you're going to jump straight into doing the relines yourself after your extraction, do it about a few weeks after your extraction so that your gums can, for the most part, heal down, get rid of the swelling, and no more stitches. But I do highly recommend that you go to your dentist for at least the hard reline because that helps make the denture less ill-fitting, and you won't have to use as much product to fill in the gap, so that'll save you money too over time. And then the next one is Trisha Yamada. I'd rather get dentures that I can afford than debt. Debt is so stressful, it's worse than dentures. I don't need full dentures, but partials as my molars decided to fall apart when I had a surprise baby at 45 years old. I'm torn through, though, because the thought of my front teeth giving up in the end and having to go through this again scares me. Full dentures or partials, and hope my currently healthy front teeth stay that way. Implants are out as my roots go into my sinuses, and they said they'd need an oral surgeon and have all these grafts, and that's just a long process, and I have 3 kids to take care of. I'm afraid of rejection as I had an allergic reaction to surgical staples. I can't even wear earrings of any kind. This is also stressful. I'm so sorry that it is incredibly stressful, and it's a huge decision to make. And I do imagine that for anyone who has any loved ones, family members, kids, whoever is depending on you and your income, that's very hard because you have to take into account the time off. Are you going to get PTO or FTO? How covered is this process going to be, or the surgery, the dentures themselves? It's already hard financially and timeline-wise. But also being down and out from the surgery was my biggest fear with having my son immediately and directly in my care while I was healing. So I can imagine with having 3 kids, like that's a lot of pressure, added pressure. As far as your front teeth holding up and going back to have something done with it again, I would really think very hard on it. And in that aspect, I would think about it for your own sake as much as you can. I know that's very hard when you have 3 kids that, need you to go back to work or, give them your time. I do understand. The reason I say think about it for yourself, as far as do you want to get it all done in one sweep or go back and forth? And it's because in my personal experience, and I absolutely stand on what my dentist said, I completely agree after my own experience, is that he had explained I had 2 options before my surgery. It's get the whole thing done and ideally be IV sedated, get the whole thing done, be slightly awake or conscious, having just the local anesthesia, or getting the top or bottom done, leave, heal, come back and get the top or bottom done that didn't get done. And that being with either IV sedation or local anesthesia or both. So what he explained to me when I asked, maybe I didn't even ask, but he was talking to me about what majority of people do, what their typical reaction is, and what happens as a consequence, and what would happen for people that did only the top and then they'd come back to do the bottom, or they'd do only the bottom to come back and do the top. There's actually a good handful of people that never come back to get the rest of it done. And it's not to say that the work was bad. It was fear from the pain that had been inflicted. There's no getting around it. Getting your teeth pulled out of your head, that's traumatic. It hurts. It's painful. Some people can bear the pain, more than others. I am not one of them, and I've been through reconstructional surgery through childhood. I like to think that made me pretty tough against needles and, whatever in my mouth. But having all of my teeth extracted was by far one of the most painful things I'd been through in life, if not the most painful. And I can't imagine having only done the top to go back and do the bottom, because I would have absolutely rethought about it and said, do I have to go back and do the bottom though? Do I have to? When the reality was, yes, I had to because of my condition. But here's the thing, is that I did a full mouth extraction and I had to go back to get one tooth removed. That one tooth, I was sobbing when they said I had to go back. I had went there for an additional follow-up x-ray to, check the work. And I saw this little white blob in the x-ray. And I said, is that a tooth? And the assistant said, oh, I will be right back. And she brought back the surgeon and he goes, I don't know how it happened. There were 7 people in the room and somehow we still missed it. And I knew that was back there because it hadn't ruptured, and I, made a mental note of it, and somehow we still forgot it. I was sobbing because I was already in so much pain. And I just did not want to come back. I absolutely thought about ghosting my surgeon. But I knew that if I gambled the chances, there could be an infection buried deep that no one's ever going to see, that I would never see, and I would be none the wiser. It would be out of sight, out of mind, right? Well, also real life consequences. So I did go back and I got it done, and it ended up being the most painful part of the surgery because it hadn't ruptured yet. They really had to dig deep to get the tooth and everything out. So the whole reason for that explanation is that you need to think about yourself and your stance with your own teeth. Because I absolutely could have maybe only done the top, because my bottom denture, or my bottom crowns, I think I was only missing one tooth in the back. I think. Maybe it was 2 or 3. But it was much more bearable than missing front teeth. So, hypothetically, I could have done that. Like what you're saying is getting just a few of the teeth done. Like I said, that was a very hard decision for me to agree to go back and get anything done at all, even though I knew I needed it. That's not to say that you can't just use partials for now. There are a few people here in this group. Acorn John, I believe, is one of them. If not, please correct me. I'm sorry, John. But he has a partial. So maybe he will be a really great voice to this decision and maybe why he did it. Or if any of you have partials, please sound off so I can refer to you guys, because obviously I didn't get a partial. Because the other flip side to the coin is if you have healthy teeth, you should preserve them, is ideal. For me, were all of my crowns broken? No. But enough of them were, and I looked at what was under the crowns that it rang alarms in my head, and I was like, what is happening under those crowns? Because at this point, I don't even want to know. I just want them out of my head with what I could see. So, anyway, short story long. I do encourage you to really think about it and maybe have a couple conversations with your dentist around, are these worth salvaging? Do you see them, taking a turn sooner than later? Or is this something that's going to financially make sense? Because, dentists, yes, they have to essentially sell the service still, so they're going to want you to keep your biological teeth. But at the same time, it's their job to obviously protect you and protect your teeth too. And so it's a double whammy no matter what you do. But absolutely think about yourself and your own personal situation. For me, it only made sense mentally and emotionally to go in and get them all done at once, no matter how many crowns were or weren't falling apart. And then implants, I agree. My body is basically the same way. My body rejected cartilage ear piercings, and I don't know. I wouldn't really want to mess with that too much. And then Carl, first, you potentially going through something another person also has does not make you unoriginal. It makes you human. I'm about to start the journey, and I appreciate the videos. I'm really glad that these videos are helping you. If anything specifically comes up or comes to mind, please let me know in the comments. I really do love covering whatever you guys come up with and whatever you guys need. Bart Nash. First of all, welcome, Bart. Oh, I'm sorry. Trisha, I want to say I recognize your name because I really love saying your last name, but welcome. If I haven't said it already, I'm Bart Nash. Welcome if I haven't said it already. I don't recognize your name either. What do you use for your top denture? Today is my first day after surgery, and neither my top or bottom denture fits properly. I can't talk or eat or drink without both coming out immediately. I went out and bought C-Bond because my dentist told me I can't use anything else for at least 6 months. And this better work, or I won't be able to talk to clients without any distractions help. Okay. Really proud of you for getting it done. And I hope you're healing well. I hope you're feeling good. Let me... Ooh, I'm sorry. Okay. So I'm going to try drawing this the best I can. And I'm going to turn this on. Okay. So for your bottom denture, there isn't going to be a whole lot you can do. Because for the most part, the entire denture is the whole thing is a trough. And I'm assuming you don't have the snap in, snap outs. So assuming you have dentures like mine, you have the old school pallets or horseshoe denture. The bottom denture, you have to use your tongue as much as you can and your bottom lip to really hold it down. So it's going to be a lot of muscle control. If it gets to a point where it's unbearable, take it out. I know your dentist tells you not to do that, but for your own sanity, sometimes even for the sake of healing and eating, take it out. I took mine out, I want to say, for about a week because my jaw had swollen so much that it was just pinching against the denture and it just was way too painful. So I took it out for like a week or two, week and a half maybe, and I put it back in. It didn't fit perfect, but it felt a lot better. And it wasn't until after you still have stitches, because this comment was 1 day ago to me watching this. You still have stitches in your mouth, so you can't put anything on your bottom denture. You don't want to do that. You don't want stuff going into where you have blood clots or where you should have blood clots or stitches, because then it's going to stick to the stitches and then we have another problem. Your top denture, I was sitting here kind of drawing here. So let's say this is your denture, okay? So if we're looking at it, these are supposed to be teeth. And this is going to be the palate. So when you flip this denture over, this is the trough where your gums go in. This is the palate. What you can do while you're healing is you can take paste, so Fix-A-Dent, whatever it might be, one line here, and then take a Q-tip. Smear it all over, make a thin line. While it's drying, just a little, breathe with your mouth open, okay? So try to dry the top of your mouth as much as you can, just a little bit, because you're also still swollen. So you're gonna have to get this puppy back in quickly. This is going to get pretty tacky. The roof of your mouth is gonna get mostly dry. Then you can put this in and hold it, okay? Do not put the paste. Oh, I'm sorry. Do not put the paste where your gums go in or where the teeth are on your denture. You do that, you're not going to be a happy camper. Keep it right here on the palate, okay? I hope that helps. At all. You'll be getting this at midnight tonight. Okay. Yeah. Otherwise, you know what? I will reply directly as a comment too, just in case, but I hope that helps. Please let me know if you have any other questions. I'm really happy that I could help you with that. Eric Rombouts, still looking good, young lady, lovely girl. Thank you, Eric. Nicole Holden, I'm due for my permanent soon. My Aspen office is trained for laser printing the new denture. What is everyone's thoughts on laser printing, or should I just stick to the old school way? I have not heard anything different one way or the other. I want to say, don't quote me, but I feel like the laser printed ones are also made by Robert Klein, the dentures that are sold on Etsy. Don't quote me. I could be wrong. I shouldn't even really be saying that because I'm absolutely not sure. Let me actually, I have the internet right here at my fingertips and I'm acting like I can't use it. Okay, so laser, laser printed. Okay, laser printed denture versus temporary dentures. Okay. So what is the difference between temporary dentures and regular? Oh, that's not helpful. Okay. So this is at woodsidedenturecenter.com. Difference between 3D dentures and traditional dentures. It goes through the history of a 3D printer being invented, that it can be used to make a variety of items, including toys, musical instruments, and even body parts. How it works. 3D dentures are quicker and easier to make. Traditional dentures take several sessions to mold, design, and fit, meaning that you would have, if you have broken dentures, you may have a long wait ahead of you. With 3D dentures, there are less invasive fitting sessions, and your brand new dentures are ready to wear in a matter of days. So, thinking about that. Plus, the bonus is that if you break or lose your 3D dentures, we can pull up your original scans and create the denture again, meaning that you do not have to come into the office to have your measurements retaken. 3D dentures fit better as our digital scanner catches all the details in your mouth in a matter of seconds. The fit you get with 3D dentures is much more accurate than the one with traditional dentures. 3D dentures can be customized more. When we create the 3D model of your mouth, we can select a variety of different teeth types to suit your aesthetic. This gives you the perfect set of dentures to match your mouth and face shape, giving you more confidence in your brand new smile. 3D dentures are also more durable. Traditional dentures are prone to wear and tear in your mouth and will eventually crack, fade, and chip. 3D dentures last a lot longer, saving you money, ensuring that you can eat hard or chewy food with complete confidence. And then there are many comments on their website. Mostly all of them are asking for the price. I do want to look at okay. I wonder, it sounds like they might be specifically the 3D denture, that they don't use an external lab for any of their dentures. So they could be pushing the sale. Could be true though, also, that they're more durable, they're quicker to make. What type of dentures are the best in terms of stability? They're talking about snap-in dentures. Let's see. That's all I'm finding so far. I would imagine that the other piece too is that when it comes to doing a mold for our mouth, there's a good chance that the mold doesn't sit right or sit well. For example, I am convinced that when they did my impressions, my bite might not have been quite on point because the back corners kept clicking and hitting. and I had to get that shaved down, which ended up being no problem. We did it, it's done, it's fine. What I do foresee with the scanning of your mouth instead is that one, it's probably less invasive, probably less messy, and also potentially more accurate because, like doing an x-ray, it's going to see everything no matter what your jaw actually is set like or anything, as long as you hold still, of course, for the pictures. But I would look into that more. Traditional versus digital impressions, which ones work best to make a set of dentures that fit well? So that's talking specifically about impressions. But I would look into that more to see, is being trained for laser printing the new denture? What is everyone's? Yeah. So I think from the stance of assuming that what I just read was correct and they're not pushing a sale, if they truly are made quicker and they're more durable, that's going to save you money because you can wear the same set of dentures longer. And let's say the worst case scenario is you lost your bottom denture because your dog got a hold of it or something. You can go and rather than waiting potentially weeks or months, you could be waiting maybe a matter of days to just get your next denture set. And you don't have to go back in to have the scan redone because they'll probably use the same one from the last time depending on how much time has passed. They might, of course, have to update it, I would think, if too much time passed. But that's my thoughts initially. I would maybe just ask them more questions like what is the laser printed denture made out of? What makes it stronger if they are allegedly stronger? And what is the difference of wait time for acrylic lab made denture versus laser printed? And what's the difference between the processes and why? I'm assuming if Aspen is going through that training, it must be some kind of an upgrade because I don't see why they would set themselves up to make something potentially lesser quality, which will damage ultimately their reputation and it will turn away clients. So those are my thoughts. And Acorn John, I was just talking about you. In the aspect of, having partials or not partials. Yeah. At least I think I was just talking about them. Sorry, this is the second time I've had to make the video because my son had started crying. Casey Gott's Chalk. I have heard so many people say they love their permanent denture. I patiently waited my full year and found someone I really trusted for my new pair since the first dentures fit so terribly. This guy has met with me 6 times now for taking impressions, measurements, and talking. I was shocked when I went in for the wax try-in and they looked horrible. I thought I would go in crying tears of joy and instead left mortified. They looked long and skinny, they were crooked with spaces, he kept making adjustments but was not getting it. The wax had holes in it. It was a mess. He ended up ordering a different shape of teeth, and now I wait longer. I'm not sure if he was all talk or what, but these are paid for already, and I am now in panic mode that he will never get them right. If I had the equipment, I would make them myself. The one thing that has kept me going all this time was knowing my next pair would be better. Now I'm afraid. I just thank God that those ugly things were not what I placed in my mouth post-surgery. Lesson to all. Be a part of the process, be extremely transparent, ask to see pictures of their work, and never pay more than the down payment up front. I went through Care Credit, and you are only approved for so many transactions. I should have paid just the down payment out of pocket. Also, pick up your dentures or go back, look at them before E-Day. Even if they are not in your mouth, you won't end up in shock that day. Best of luck to everyone in this process. It wasn't for the weak, but it is better than pain. Thank you so much. I appreciate every single aspect of that, Casey. And I want to say I remember seeing your name and that picture, but if I haven't said it, welcome. I'm convinced I recognized you. So the saddest thing is I think dentists and then the lab techs that make the dentures are both going to be different people most of the time, I would think. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. So I would say that his work probably is exactly what you think it is. Probably higher quality, attention to detail, takes his time, versus, I don't want to speak illy of, people who don't deserve it, but not all labs or dentists are created the same, or have the same work ethic or drive or passion or reasons for being in the industry in the first place. So I would absolutely not take it too personal from him, especially if you can go to the website and see any before and after pictures of his work and clients so far. I do absolutely stand on what you said. If you can possibly control it, and I think this should be the case, before you get your extractions, I got my dentures and they were placed in my care months before I got my extraction done. And I had to sign like a waiver saying that they are in my care. If I lose them, if they get damaged, it's my fault. I can't hold them liable. All that good stuff. I do recommend you do that because you should be able to sit and, place them on top of one another, see how they fit, how do they bite, how do they look, do you like how the gums look, do you think the teeth are too long or too short? My thing is that my teeth initially looked too short. Can't really see because of the light. But come to find out, my dentist, my original dentist who did all my crowns, he always said he thought my teeth were made too big. My crowns were too big. But my mom and myself wanted the biggest, widest teeth. So that's what we did. And it was meant to make my face look longer, was, I think, a part of the decision too. So turns out the shorter teeth actually work better anyway. And I do love them now that some time has passed. But just to make sure that, like, those gaps and the holes and all that kind of stuff should absolutely not be the case. Let's see. He ended up ordering different shape of teeth, and now I wait longer. I'm not sure if he was all talk or what. These are already paid for. I am going to take into consideration what you said about paying out of pocket and doing a down payment. Personally, when I start that next chapter for myself, I do want to make sure that what I get is what I want. From what I had heard, well, I guess the difference too is that I plan on paying completely out of pocket. I'm not doing a care plan deal. So whatever I pay, my understanding is that once you go in to get your permanent set up and the payments are aligned or set up, is that you can get as many wax trines as you need until they get it right, because you are paying for custom. You're not paying for poop in your mouth. Like, you don't want this in your mouth. Sorry, that was really terrible. This is my hair clip. But you don't want this. You paid for custom. So they had better get it right. Yeah, unless you ask for like the gap, between your two front teeth, which, I know that's fashionable. I know some people, they'll get like a tooth colored differently or, that kind of stuff, but that's my understanding. I am definitely going to have to ask my dentist about that, because if I don't like the first wax try-in, I don't want to okay it and say, oh yeah, I will walk away with that one. I don't like it. And it's just the wax try-in. It's not even the real thing. So I do hope he ends up ordering something better for you and that it will be better. If they can send you pictures of the work as it's going through, I think that is amazing. I just don't know if they can do it because, again, it's the dentist on the front end who's doing the service for you, and then they have all the instructions and everything sent out to a lab. If I were that dentist, I would also be tearing them a new one, saying having holes in the try-in is very unsettling for a client or a customer who wants an entire denture. And maybe there's supposed to be holes in it to make it more flexible or whatever, since it's a wax try-in, I guess. But to my knowledge, absolutely not. There's no excuse for that. And then the gaps between the teeth, absolutely not. And there's nothing you can really do with that. You can try filling it, but it's not going to look right and it's not going to look natural. So, I know you can make your own dentures with DIY kits. I believe I covered that in one of my previous videos. The DIY kit, I think, is intended for potential lab technicians to practice on to make their own dentures. It didn't look like it was actually meant to be a prosthetic, but there are people who use it. So that's something else that I'm thinking about doing, because why not? I mean, it's a backup set of dentures I can have, and yeah, why not? And Leah, Juju, my speaking is still off. I'm watching your speech video again. I still have a lisp. If I need to do another lisp video, I can. I hope that continues to help. It took me so long, and here and there I still feel like I do have a lisp, and I'll apologize to Matt and say, oops, sorry, I whistled, or that was my lisp, or even as I'm doing like customer service, my mouth will get the best of me. I just kind of make a lighthearted joke where I'm like, sorry, lisp. And they're usually very understanding, but it's not nearly as often, so it's definitely going to still come with time, because Leah, you're still very, 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 very brand new to this. So just be very, very patient and loving with yourself. And then Leah, thank you, Danny, for always replying to all my comments. I appreciate you so much. I appreciate you, and I hope you're doing well and you keep healing. I still have to check my email for you. Oh my goodness. And then the last one is Bob. Danielle, I appreciate everything you have done and your videos. You have supported the viewers very much, and I will continue to support you like you have all of us. Prayers to you and your family, and best wishes that all works out for the best for you. Also, yes, thank you very much. You answered all my questions that I had. That is big help. Thank you for all your support. I will keep supporting you in everything. I appreciate it. I'm very thankful that you guys are, seemingly very understanding of my need to pull back just a little bit so that I can focus on some of the other things in my personal life. I guess I understand that these things are going to happen. I can't expect myself to always do everything that I do, because I do shoulder a lot. So I'm just very thankful that you guys were able to be understanding of that, and I'm still here for you guys. I'm gonna still keep doing videos. I'm always thinking about you and what I can do to eventually make this work, and I'm hoping that this pause is for a month, maybe 2, and then we can go back to the 2 days a week videos again, including holidays. So if you like videos like this one, please support it by giving it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please drop a comment down in the comments. And if you'd like to see more videos from me in the future, please subscribe, and I will talk to you later. Bye.